Hare Krishna, Bruce Matajis. Welcome all of you. Thank you for joining.
हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to
Hare
everybody.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let us all start. So, thank you for joining this Bhagavad-gītā session. So today we'll be discussing from 8th chapter, the last three verses, 26, 27 and 28. Very wonderful chapter. Let us start. Jagannath Baldeswara Mai ki jai. Simra Bhagwan ki jai. Panchatattva ki jai. Choti Goswami ki jai. Guru Parampara ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. मम ज्ञानतिमरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वदाधिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणनिताशे विशाखावितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भवेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। तो प्रभु Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji's. So the three verses from Bhagavad Gita today, 8th chapter, 26, 27 and 28. So let us first recite their verses. 8.26. Shukla Krishne gati hete जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. The 27th verse. Naitesh Sriti Partha Janam Yogi Muhyati Kaschana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. 8.28. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme and eternal abode. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. It was a very wonderful, actually, chapter. In this chapter, in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, up to verse number 22, Krishna has concluded describing the spiritual world and the process of reaching the spiritual world. And then 23 to 28, the last 6 verses. So in the final 6 verses of this chapter, of 8th chapter Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna discusses the process by which a soul should leave his body to attain the supreme. Okay. So 8.23, 24, 25, and 26. These four verses, it gives detail about attaining the Supreme through mystic yoga. And the 27 and 28 verse, that is the supremacy of bhakti in attaining the Supreme. See the verses from 8.24 to 227. Okay. These verses mention different ways to leave the body and thus achieving different destination. See, actually, Prabhupada says, right, in the various purports, devotees don't worry about proper time to leave the body. Devotees don't worry about the proper time to leave the body as it is prescribed. It's there. But what the devotees do, they leave everything in Krishna's hands. And they become fixed devotion. Why devotees do this? This is because, number one, Krishna takes care and gives protection. And number two, devotional service gives results of all other practices. You don't have to do anything else. So the three ways of leaving the body is given in 24, 25, right? And 27. So the ways of leaving the body, the first one is in 8.24, it says, in light, influence of fiery god, auspicious moment of day, fortnight of waxing moon, or 6 months when the sun travels to north. So this is the first one, first path. And this is for whom? This is for the path of yogis and gyanis. That is when the sun travels to the north. It is in 8.24. And the destination of the such people are Ramajyoti. Then second path is, that is given in 8.25, in darkness or night, during smoke, fortnight of waning moon, or 6 months when sun passes to the south, reaches the moon and again comes back. So this is for whom? This path is for karma kandis. And the destination of karma kandis is they attain heavenly planets and then return to earth again. So 8.24, 25. 24 is for the sun traveling towards the north. Uttarayan, and then 25 is Dakshinayan, right? These are all the things. So first one was path of yogis when it is traveling towards the north. And south Dakshinayan is path of karma kandis. So the north, when the sun travels towards the north, the destination for them is Brahmajyoti at that time when they leave the body. And when they leave the body when the sun, the Dakshinayan time, they attain the heavenly planets. But again, after that, again, they have to return back to the earth. Whereas in the 27th verse, 8.27, there is no specification, north, south, nothing. Anytime the body is left. This is for the path of unalloyed devotees. The destination is Krishna Loka. See, in the 8.26 verse, just now read, right? Translation and purport, I'll just read out again. The translation Prabhupada says, according to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. There are two ways of passing from this world. One in the light and one in the darkness. Prabhupada says, when one passes in the light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. The purport, he says, the same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladeva Vidyabhushan from Chandogya Upanishad, 5.10.3 to 5. Says, those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators, from time immemorial, they are constantly going and coming, going and birth, death, birth, death. So actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation. Why? For they do not surrender to Krishna. And the 8.2, the last verse, this verse explains the knowledge. This verse explains the knowledge that fixes the devotees in the path of devotion. See, such a devotee, automatically and effortlessly achieves all the results of jnana, yoga, karma, and all the Vedic forms of purification. And this 8.28 verse is a summation of chapter 7 and chapter 8, which particularly deals with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. See, in this purport, very nice points have been described by Prabhupada. See, the first point is the path of Vedic literatures. What are the path of Vedic literatures? First one is brahmachari life. What does the brahmachari do? He studies Vedas under spiritual master, performs many austerities and penances, and is trained in celibacy and menial services. He begs alms, takes food only under master's order. And it's very important point to understand. Vedic study is not meant for, Prabhupada, very beautiful statement he gives. Vedic study is not meant for recreation of armchair speculators, but for building a perfect character. Vedic study is not meant for recreation of any armchair speculator just sitting and is going on, but for building a perfect character. So this is the brahmachari life, the first one. The second one is householder life, brahmachari life. Grahastha life. The grahastha life is they sacrifice they perform, charity according to time, place, circumstance. This is all being done, right? Then comes retired life, vanaprastha. They do tapasya. And then finally sannyasa. So the purpose of the Vedic path is gradual elevation to perfectional stage. So this is the purpose of Vedic path. The second important point to understand is the beauty of, see, first we saw is the path of Vedic literatures. The brahmachari, householder, retired life, there is vanaprastha, sannyasa. And the purpose of these Vedic paths are gradual elevation to perfect stage. But the second view is beauty of Krishna consciousness. What is the beauty of Krishna consciousness? By one stroke of devotional service, one surpasses all the rituals of different ashramas. Just by one stroke. And third, in the verse, there's a word, idam viditva, that it implies one should understand the instruction of Krishna very scrutinizingly. Krishna has given so many instructions, right? So we should understand it very scrutinizingly. We should analyze and try to understand very nicely. So what are those instructions? Which are those instructions? Those are given in chapter 7 and chapter 8. These are the three. So we should read these two chapters very scrutinizingly. So how should I read it? By hearing in the association of devotees. This is the second important point. You should go through the chapter 7 and 8, read them, understand the instructions, very scrutinizing, note down the points, and apply them. So this is in 7 and 8. But how to do that? By hearing in the association of devotees, who are coming in the parampara. And not through any academic scholarship or mental speculation or through any other paramparas. No, it's coming under the parampara of Krishna consciousness. And this is the greatest fortune. What is the greatest fortune? To understand the middle 6 chapters in the association of devotees. There are 18 chapters in Bhagavad-gītā, right? 6 divided. So the middle 6 chapters, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7 to 12. So to understand this middle 6 chapters in the association of devotees is the greatest fortune. And why fortune? Because life becomes glorified beyond all yajna, dana, tapa. And all the results of such activities, yajna, dana, tapa and all, they're all automatically achieved simply by Krishna consciousness. And the last paragraph of the purport in 8.28 is very beautifully given. See, we have this 9 stages in bhakti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha and all. So let us just see Shraddha. What is first the starting point? Shraddha is the starting point. And what is that? Little faith in Bhagavad-gītā. Have little faith, at least little faith in Bhagavad-gītā. That is the first one, Shraddha. Second is Sadhu Sangha. That is a sign of faith. That is learned from only qualified devotees, not from mental speculators. Because once you have a little faith, slowly you get into the association of devotees. Right? That is a sign of faith. So you have to start getting faith. Then third is Bhajana Kriya and Anartha Nivritti. That is service in association of devotees. It dispels all the doubts, misgivings about Krishna. So that is important. So first is starting point, you have little faith, then you associate with devotees, you start the faith improves, then you associate bhajana kriya. That means you start serving, doing service in association. So all the anartha nivritti, everything will go off. Then what happens when you become determined, nishta? One becomes fixed. in one's study of Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. Then you determine to study. And once you are become determined, then ruchi and asakti. Relish, you started relishing the study, because it attains a feeling of, state of feeling always of Krishna, or being in Krishna consciousness. Such a wonderful feeling you feel. The ruchi, the taste will develop. And the eighth and ninth is bhava and prema. It's the advanced stage. Thereby, by doing all this, coming into this stage, a little bit of faith, Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajanakriya and Anantaruti, Nishtha, Ruchi and Asakti, then Bhava and Prema comes advanced stage, falls completely in love and with Krishna, completely in love with Krishna, highest perfect stage. Once that is reached that point, transfer to Krishna's abode, guaranteed eternal happiness. So that's why in chapter 8, Krishna has explained that Ananya, unalloyed bhakti, an unalloyed devotee, surpasses the path of light and darkness. It does not, you will not follow. There's no need to worry about these things. Oh, whether I'm in the light or the light, when the sun is in the north, and the sun is west. Nothing of that sort. So in chapter 9, chapter 8, Krishna has explained, unallowed devotee surpasses the path of light and darkness. And chapter 9, Krishna will explain how to become such a devotee. So you might be asking, how to do that? So now chapter 9, the next chapter will come. And how to become such a devotee. See, Jatayu, everybody knows Jatayu, right? Jatayu gets universal visa. We have to go for one country, one visa, different visas. But Jatayu gets the universal visa. How is it? Before cremating Jatayu, Lord Ram gave universal visa to him so that he can ascend to any of the higher worlds in this material world and also to spiritual world of his choice. The very famous shloka from Ramayana, 3:68, 29 and 30, where he says, "Oh, greatly mighty king of eagles," Lord Ramachandra telling, "Oh, greatly mighty king of eagles, cremated by me," is Lord Ram, "and ordained by me, who go to those worlds which are attained by performance of Vedic sacrifices. Go to those worlds which are attained by regular performance of rituals with fivefold fires. Go to those worlds that are attained by warriors who die in the battlefield without retreating back. Go to those worlds which are attained by those who donate land, and go to the unexcelled spiritual planet." So various ways he was just describing. So he's telling, "Oh, greatly mighty king, cremated by me and ordained by me. You may go to those worlds which are attained by performing Vedic sacrifices, or go to those worlds which are by regular people who are regular performing rituals with fivefold fires, or go to those worlds that are attained by warriors who die in the battlefield without retreating back, and go to those worlds which are attained by those who donate land, and go to the unexcelled spiritual planet." The options are given. That's why he's given the universal visa. So here we can see that Jataya did not perform any Vedic sacrifice, right? Or any fire rituals, or neither did he donate any land. But he became qualified to enter into any of the higher worlds attained by all these activities. Jatayu fought with Ravana without retreat. And by fighting in war without retreat, one can attain only the heavenly planet. But here Lord Ram granted spiritual world, the spiritual world itself to Jatayu. This is because Jatayu fought for the Lord's cause. He did not fight for his own or anybody else, for Lord's cause. So in Bhagavatam 9, 10, 12, it is stated, Atma Kritya Hata Krityam. And Srila Prabhupada beautifully brings out the greatness of Jatayu and Lord Ram in the word-to-word equivalent, where he says, after performing religious rituals required after the death of Jatayu, who died for the Lord's cause. See, Lord Ram used two conditions here. Maya Tvam Samanujñato and Sankritascha Maya. Meaning, by my ordinance and being done cremation. So Rama personally, right, he's telling, by my, I have done this. So personally bless Jatayu to ascend to any world of his choice on the strength of his grace. So imply here that Jatayu can go to any higher worlds and stay there for any amount of time and then go to spiritual world at his own will. See, options are given to him. We will not get this option unless you are a pure devotee of the Lord. So by this, and the Lord doesn't, and the pure devotees don't need liberation also. They only want to engage in the service continuously. See, so by this, the Lord also implied that he is a proprietor. And not only of the spiritual world, but also of the planets in the spiritual material world also. So, a pure devotee of the Lord is eligible to attain any planet in the middle world. And finally, spiritual world by the Lord's grace. That's why this Shloka 8.28 exactly fits Jatayu. That is, a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches supreme eternal abode. So from the Ramayana, we see that once the cremation is over, Jatayu attained a luminous spiritual form. He attains the spiritual world, luminous spiritual form, with 4 hands, supporting the conch, discus, mace, and lotus. So he was decorated with attractive ornaments and robes of shining yellow cloth. He was received in spiritual airplane by Vishnu Dutas and praised by great sages. So Jatayu offered wonderful prayers. He offered wonderful prayers of 10 shlokas known as Jatayu Stuti, and which are recited even today by devotees all around the world. So the first shloka is very special. Adhyatma Ramayana 3.8.44, where it says, I bow down to Lord Sri Ramachandra, who is possessed of countless transcendental attributes, immeasurable by time and space, the most ancient, the cause of worlds, its sustenance and dissolution, endowed with the radiance of peace, the super soul of all souls. So Lord Ram was very pleased to hear this prayer and blessed Jatayu. By my mercy, Lord Ram is telling to Jatayu, you will attain my supreme abode. Whoever recites this prayer, that is, whoever recites this prayer of yours or hears it, it's a very nice prayer. Aganita gunan prameyam madhyam sakala jagatstiti samyamadi hetum uparama paramam paramatma bhutam satat maham pranatosmi Ramachandram. So he said, whoever recites this prayer of yours or hears it, it will remember me at their last moments. They will remember and attain a spiritual form similar to mine. So Jatayu heard this blessing and attained Vaikuntha, the supreme spiritual planet. And the Valmiki Ramayana also beautifully summarizes the glories and spiritual destination of Jatayu, 368-37. That king of eagle Jatayu performed an impossible and credit-worthy service of stalling and combating Ravana. He was felled by Ravana, but being cremated by Rama in a way which is meant for great rishis and sannyasis, he went to the most auspicious spiritual world, which is his ultimate destination. So Jatayu fought sincerely for the Lord, for his Lord's cause, right? And though he was not successful in his combat with Ravana, because of his sincere effort and offering his body, mind, and words to Lord Ram, he attained the spiritual world. And he has also attained lasting glory, by the grace of Lord Ram. So we can also see in the life of Srila Prabhupada that when he wanted to leave Vrindavan and go to the West for preaching message of Godhead, the Babajis and resident devotees of Vrindavan discouraged him. They said, West is too much materialistic. There is not even a vegetarian food. So Prabhupada will have a difficult time and he may lose his life also there. They advised Prabhupada to stay in Vrindavan and absorb in Krishna consciousness, leave his body in Vrindavan. But Srila Prabhupada took the order of his spiritual master very seriously and went to the West and established Krishna Bhakti all over the world. And towards the end of his life, he came back to Vrindavana during his last days. Thereby, he fulfilled the wishes of the Babajis and residents of Vrindavan. He left his body also in Vrindavan as per the desire of the devotees in Vrindavan. And at the same time, Srila Prabhupada fulfilled the order of his spiritual master to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. So success or failure, one can learn from Jatayu. But one should discharge his duties in the Lord's service, offering his body, mind, and words. BMW. One who does so actually conquers the Lord. So unless ultimately we are satisfied the Lord. So this is how we can do. So Jata's example is very beautifully understood. So just by one stroke of devotion service, you can attain all the other rituals, what is already there. No need to do that. And no need to worry about which time the body will pass away. If this is so, then I'll have to come back. Nothing to worry. Means automatically it's done, and you're definitely going back to God by just being Krishna conscious. By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. At the end of the life, maybe you might be chanting. If you're not able to chant, then maybe devotees around Krishna will send you. Or Krishna himself will chant for you. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Granthara Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, Gita Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.